right, let's see. All right, we are in. Hey, Dan the Trout's in. Just getting
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
How we doing? Welcome to Mash and Drum. Tonight's live broadcast. I have a special guest tonight. I want to say hi to Scott from My Bourbon Journey. Say hi, buddy.
What is going on, everybody? Glad everybody could hop on tonight. Jason, thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. So far, we got Dan and Dwayne in the chat. How you doing, guys? Nice to talk to you. Hey, Dan. Hey, Dwayne. So tonight we have a really kind of an action-packed show here, as action-packed as it can get.
Yeah. We got some interesting stuff for you guys tonight.
Let's see who else is checking in. Whiskey Throttle is here. How you doing, man? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Pressman is in. How we doing? So tonight, kind of, as you guys know, September is Bourbon Heritage Month. So to do that, as Scott and I being major bourbon heads, we want to go through a few bottles with you guys. But first, what we want to do is kick off we want to do a comparison of the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond against the Heaven Hill 6-year non-bottled and bond. So we're going to do a quick comparison, see which one we like best. And then after that, Scott's going to talk about his experience with the special event he went to for the Blackened whiskey presented by Metallica. So that should be, I can't wait to hear about that, Scott.
Yeah, that was a fun night. So we can save that for a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then some other bottles we're going to be opening and going through here is Bullet 10 Year, which is actually one I've never had. Haven't tried that one yet.
Oh, yeah.
One of my personal favorites, which I haven't had in ages because it was hard for me to find, is Old Grandad 114. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot to grab that one. I'll grab that before the end of the night. So,
right, but we're going old school, bro. It'll be fun.
Real quick.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah. So he was nice enough that I don't know if anybody can see it or not, but he did kind of sign the bottle a little bit. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Who we got here? Whiskey Altar is in. Starbuck. Let's see. Santa Cruz in. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey guys.
Coming in. All right, Scott. So let's. You ready to pour some bourbon?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to start with the lower proof, the green label first?
Yeah, let's do the green label first.
Okay. All right.
Going in, guys. If you guys have any of this stuff, any of you guys in the chat, feel free to sip along.
So do you want to, real quick, I guess before we get going, so Dan, who's on here, and I don't know, Jason, do you want to kind of take over regarding the samples that we were talking about before?
Oh yeah. So Dan Trout, who's in the chat, he's graciously going to be sending us Scott and I some samples of, I believe it's just a mix of bourbons. Dan in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. So we're planning for a week from today, next Wednesday night, to do this blind sampling that Dan's going to be sending to us, and I guess we'll try to pick out not only which ones are our favorite, maybe we could try to figure out what's what. So it'll be really So that'll be next Wednesday night, guys. So we're looking forward to that. And thank you, Dan. It's it's guys like you that make the whiskey community so cool. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I've thanked him. I've thanked him enough and send a bunch of gifts and stuff to him. So yeah, he's well aware that I'm appreciative of what he's done. So thanks, Dan.
All right. So with that along, all right. So let's get into this. So a little bit about. So this is the Heaven Hill Green Label that we're sipping on first.
Yep.
So it uses their standard mash bill of 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. Number 3 charred white oak barrels, and it's 6 years old, bottled at 90 proof. So.
Yep.
All right. So
hey, real quick, is this the same mash bill as the bottle and bond? Do you know if both are the same?
It is. It's the same mash bill. It's
okay.
It's also the same. Is this the? Oh no, I thought it was the yeah, it is the same mash bill, Scott.
Okay. I thought so. I wasn't sure. You kind of, when you started rattling off what the mash bill was, it didn't sound as familiar. But yeah, that does sound right though.
Yeah. All right. Let's see who else is coming in here. Whiskey Throttle, Thomas S. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for. Oh, Bourbon Shenanigans is here. How you doing, Mike? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. How's it going, bud? Daniel, right. Chris, everybody's in. Dan.
Yeah, we're this is cool, man. Having a good time. All right, here we go. Let's get into the nose on this one. See what we got. So I haven't tried this one yet, Scott. Have you had the pleasure?
Oh yeah, I have. With a lot of the Heaven Hill stuff, naturally, I pick up. I get a lot of that corn sweetness up front, and then that follows right away by like some nuttiness. I always get it with Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
So
yeah, me too. It's corn, nutty, and then oak. That's what I always get.
Yeah,
most Heaven Hill.
I agree. Yep. Yeah, and actually, I mean, 490 proof. For me, when I'm kind of nosing it, I pick up a little bit of alcohol, more than you do normally from like a 90 proof bourbon. Yeah, I do anyway.
Yeah, I can get that on there. Yeah, there's a very, very faint vanilla, but I think it's like fighting the oak to me.
Yeah. It really does seem to be, as you kind of start to smell it more, a fair amount of oak. It's a fairly heavily oaked bourbon to me anyway.
Yeah, so. For 6 years, I definitely get a lot of wood notes on it. It's not overly sweet smelling at all.
No.
Hey, Peter White's in there. How you doing, guys? All right, I'm ready to taste. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Oh yeah, that is pure Heaven Hill goodness.
You got it. Yeah, it's for 90 proof. I mean, it to me drinks a little hotter than 90 proof. So
yeah, I'm definitely getting, most 90 proof bourbons don't give me too much of a burn, but this is giving me a light Kentucky hug for this one.
Yeah, it does for sure. But it's you're hit right away with that oak. I mean, it is really fairly oak, kind of oaky. If I wasn't mistaken, it kind of tastes a little bit like McKenna, to be honest.
Dude, you just took it right out of my head. I totally agree.
Yeah. I even though I do think McKenna's a tad bit sweeter, but still that oak is there. But yeah, I mean, with that like burn, it's real. Like, I mean, if I was tasting it, I may have even guessed that would have been McKenna. So
yeah, just McKenna is obviously a little darker, a little fuller, maybe a little bit more rounded. But the flavor profile, it being sweet up front and having a lot of that wood and oak in the back, it's really good. It definitely reminded me of McKenna as soon as I sipped it. Ooh, it got me.
The color would have given it away of it not being McKenna, just because that stuff is so dark.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty light, guys, but it's got good. I mean, 6 years, it imparted a lot of flavor.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. And what is it? $10? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
this was like $8.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Whiskey Throttle's asking, can Scott turn his lenses sideways?
Turn my what?
Turn your lenses sideways? What does that mean?
I'm not exactly sure. He's Canadian, so he's probably drunk already. But he's out west, so.
I've been on a couple of Whiskey Throttle's last live streams, man. They're sipping some good stuff out in Canada.
Yeah, they did a like a 2-hour marathon the other day. So each time Daniel does a new live stream, he picks up another guy. I don't know where he's getting them off the street, but he just keeps picking up more guys. So
Whiskey Throttle says his lens, maybe your camera lens.
Turn it sideways. What does he see? I don't know. I'm horizontal, right? I mean, I'm not like vertical. I mean, everybody can see me okay?
Yeah, I can see you fine.
Daniel, sit up, buddy.
Yeah, so this Heaven Hill, this 6 years, it is so good for the price. I mean, it's like a baby McKenna. Has anyone ever called it that?
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't heard that, but when I was looking at it or when I was tasting it, it just like all of a sudden it just had that McKenna kind of pop out to me. I think it was that little bit of that Kentucky hug that you got right away that was that way. But like you said before, the McKenna's way more like full bodied.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, now that I'm taking a couple more sips, it's very corn and sweet forward. Um,
Yeah.
it's got a nice little bit of that caramel. It's really good.
Yep. Yep. I even pick up as we kind of continue to talk a little bit more like kind of cinnamon on it as well.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Maybe that's more of the finish part of it for me. A little bit of cinnamon on
Yeah,
the
I'm
back
wondering
end.
if as this opens up a little bit, if you start getting a little bit sweeter too. Most
Maybe.
most of the Heaven Hill products, I seem to find get a little bit better as it works its way down the bottle.
I agree. I agree. And this one I've only had, oh, geez, I think I opened it. It was probably a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and I haven't gotten back to it because I never can get past the bottle and bond. I just go back to it all the time. So
Yeah. All right. So
but,
speaking of bottle and bond,
yeah,
let's pour that one. So
yeah,
Bourbon Shenanigans. Mike, I saw him on, I think, Instagram. He was sipping on this before his live stream with the Scotch for Dummies guys.
yeah.
Here.
Yeah, see, that's just so much. It's just sweeter to me for some reason. That nose is just much sweeter to me.
It is. It is super
You
sweet
know?
coming off the 6 year. This is, like you said, it's oak and McKenna smelling like, and this is just. I feel like I'm smelling mellow corn right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is. That's. I mean, if they're the same mash bill and aged the same amount of years, unless they're stored in a completely different area, I don't know what's mellowing it out as much. But interesting.
Yeah, it's super different. It's really
Yeah.
really surprising.
Really, technically, the only difference that there should be is, the proof that's there. But interesting.
I'm trying to see color wise here.
Yeah,
Yeah, the bottled and bond is definitely slightly darker.
I agree. I agree. Wow, I wonder if they're coming from different areas of a rick house.
You would think that this has a serious the bottled and bond has a serious caramel covered corn thing going on.
I agree. It's much sweeter.
Like
Much
Cracker
sweeter.
Jacks. You ever have Cracker Jacks?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's for sure. It's for sure that. So
All right, cheers, buddy.
cheers. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's much. I know people hate to use the term smooth, but I mean, it's that. So, I mean, now this is 100 proof, obviously, and obviously 10 more proof than the other, but you get almost no burn. It's smoother. It's sweeter. So I'd really be interested to know where these two are coming from. I mean, they've got to be coming from either different rick houses or completely separate areas within the rick house.
Yeah, it's a totally different flavor profile. There's almost no wood finish to me on this. It's just all sweet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is.
But yet the alcohol burn to me. This is 10 points higher of proof, and it doesn't come in as hot to me as the green label does. So
Not even close. Like, I mean, there's almost no heat to the 100 proof, and the 90. Honestly, I mean, it was. If I would have guessed, I mean, I would have thought we were well above 100 proof just with that burn, that hug that it was giving.
I thought it was a higher than 90 proof. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. But but I mean, price point fantastic.
Let's see, what do we got? Oh yeah, the price point you can't beat either of these. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Mike is asking, I haven't tried the green label. Does anyone know if they're actually going to change the bottle and bond? Actually, yeah, Mike, before we started, me and Scott were talking about that a little bit. They are supposed to be getting rid of the bottled and bond, or at least the the label and just changing it. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
I was trying to find more information on it, but Scott, to what he said, you can kind of let them know what you have heard.
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard from before. I mean, and Heaven Hill is one of those brands like they've done with McKenna. There was talk about it leaving, reducing the age statement off of it. I mean, it's tried and true. I mean, they just keep pumping that stuff out. I would be really, really surprised if they discontinued this. I mean, unless their plan is to completely use this in, something either to age it longer or do something different. But I mean, I've heard in the past that this stuff was being discontinued and going away and all of that. So if it happens, I'd be very, very surprised. So
yeah, I would agree with that. So if anyone is in Kentucky, because you can only get in Kentucky, definitely grab it before maybe it goes away. It's just it's too good for this stuff.
But either one of them, I mean, both are good. I mean, if I was recommending one over the other, I mean, for me, hands down, it would be the bottled and bond if you can get it. I mean, if you can't, I mean, and the other one is it's kind of 1A, 1B type of deal. But I really, really enjoy that bottled and bond.
I would say for you guys in the chat room, if you have the choice, if you like more wood forward bourbons, then definitely go with the green label. If you like it a little bit sweeter, higher proof, then definitely do the bottled and bond. So you can't go wrong.
I agree.
Bourbon Shenanigans, aging it to a 10 or 12. Yeah, see, that's what I heard too. I heard that bottled and bond is going to be going away. They'll have another offering age 10 to 12 years. So I heard the same.
And maybe that's the case. I mean, I can see where they'd want to maybe continue to age the stock. It just, and again, when you start looking at or considering what we're paying for it value wise, let's just call it $12, whatever it is, 12, $13, for them to age it a few more years and then charge a premium, maybe it's something that they're considering doing, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I
hope not, just from a selfish standpoint of, I mean, I don't know. I love this stuff. So
I know. I also was talking to Scott earlier, so I am going to be one of the morons going to Kentucky. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. I'm going to wait online to see if I can get my hands on the September 15th release of the Four Roses 130th anniversary small batch bottle. I'm going to probably have to go the night before, wait online, camp out, whatever it is I have to do. But I'm one of those morons trying to do it. I just heard from the reviews that some people have had already of this stuff, that it's pretty phenomenal. And I love Four Roses, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, their stuff, if the 130th is anywhere close to or better than the 125th, I mean, it's fantastic. 125th was fantastic. I love their limited edition releases that they do. I mean, Brent Elliott, I mean, that guy, I mean, he really knows what he's doing over there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So a little bit about the, let's see, where was it? I had a little information about that dram. So the Four Roses 130th anniversary. It was obviously crafted by Brent Elliott. This is a 13-year-old bourbon from the OBSF recipe, a 10-year-old from the OBSV, which is a 14-year-old, and an OESV and the 16-year-old OESK were selected as a small batch in this thing. I mean, it just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, and so I can't remember what the 125th was proof wise, but just going back to the limited edition, I think that was in the, I want to say maybe 115 range or something. I don't know if you know offhand or if anybody knows, but that stuff, I mean, it drank like almost 80 proof. I mean, it had no heat, full of flavor, and it also, those limited edition, they had some age mixed into that batch. So I mean, it is really good stuff.
Yeah, here's a picture of the bottle. If you guys can see that out on my phone. It's a nice looking bottle. It's got the 130 year right there.
Yeah.
They say it has like about roasted apricot flavors, a very long finish. It's supposed to be pretty amazing. So I'm going to try to get my hands on one and then do an immediate review
Yeah.
if I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be, I'm sure that'll be a home run for you right there.
Yeah, let's see. Bourbon Shenanigans. I remember trying to get some of the 125th. Yeah. Peter White said it was 51.6 to 125.
Okay. Okay.
51.6.
Okay. All right. So
yeah, Dan Trout says he has the 125th and it's one of the best he's ever had. So yeah, a lot of people actually were saying when I was reading about the 130th that they were having a hard time seeing which one they liked better. Both are phenomenal. So
yeah. That 125th, it was really, really fantastic stuff.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. We're about 20 minutes in. You want to get into this bullet?
Yeah, we can do that. Do you want to finish with we'll finish with the blackened deal?
Oh yeah, so so yeah, let's talk about your experience at the blackened event, and let us know. Kind of let us know because I've read about what they do with the whiskey. I did watch some of the live stream you did. So why don't you kind of take us about the event, what you learned, and how it was?
Sure. Yeah. So it was a fun night. So that was last Thursday night. A local distillery, Dancing Goat Distillery, hosted Dave Pickerel, who is launching this new brand, Blackened. That's basically Metallica's brand. So they were nice enough to host Dave Pickerel there, who everybody may or may not know is the guy behind Whistle Pig and a bunch of other things. But he's probably really well known for that, in addition to being the master distiller at Maker's Mark for several years. I think 14 or 15 years he was the master distiller over there. So he's got a lot of history and background with all of this. So when I got there, I was fortunately able to kind of talk with him early on before it really kind of got going, and asked if he minded if I did like kind of a live stream event while he just did like a description of what it was. And he didn't mind at all. So I was able to basically stand about 2 feet from him with the camera or my phone right in his face. And he just kind of rattled off. And the nice part about it was it worked out to my advantage that a lot of people would get some samples, taste it, and kind of he'd describe a few things to them, and then more people would kind of filter through, and he would continue to talk and tell new stuff. So I never really planned on it being like almost 40 minutes or 45 minutes, but it was just constantly something new and him explaining something different. So I didn't really want to shut it off because I was afraid that maybe he'd say something that, I hadn't heard already. So anyway, so yeah, he went through all of that. So essentially the deal behind Blackened is this is a mixture of whiskeys from all over the place. Canadians, it's everything. He's used to, being part of Whistle Pig, he draws stuff from all over. Canadian rye, everything. This is a
how many kind of roundabout, how many whiskeys are blended into that?
I thought he said anywhere from like 6 to 8. So it's a lot of different things with different ages, young stuff, older stuff,
wow.
All different types of things. But he was a little secretive on like where stuff was coming from. All he was saying that, he pulls stuff from basically anybody who he works through, anybody who he's kind of worked through the years, he's pulling product from them. So they've taken that and what the distillery he had mentioned was in Maine. I believe it was Hill Rock, which he's also a part owner in Hill Rock.
Oh, Hill Rock makes some good juice.
Yeah, I think that was what it was, Hill Rock. I'm almost positive that's what it was. So anyway, so they do what they do there, and then they're taking that blend of everything that they're doing there and putting that blend into black brandy barrels. and he's pulled these from all over the place too. So,
Now,
and then
did he go into what I read about taking what they call the black noise, which is Metallica concert music, and
yep,
blasting it through the rick house as it ages to
yep,
rumble the cast
yep,
and juice?
yep. So what he did was and this is where I kind of asked him that same thing too, was when did that whole process kind of begin? So once they put the whiskey into the black and brandy barrels, that's when they hit this stuff with this ultra low frequency, or high frequency probably would be ultra high frequency.
Yeah, they said it was. They
I
said
think
black noise, basically
yep,
rumbling concert music.
yep. So it was a lot of that bass. So yeah, their idea was to just get that vibration going, just to stir everything up in the black and brandy barrels and expose it to that flavor a little bit more.
Yeah, before you go on, quick checking in here. We have Moose 76 is in here now. Hey, it's Bourbon Night is here. That's very exciting. How you doing? I don't know if that's Chad or Sarah, but thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Chad, Sarah, how are you?
Yeah, how you doing, guys? Thanks for checking in. We just did a comparison of some Heaven Hill 6-year and the Bottled and Bond, and now we are talking a little bit about Scott's experience with the new Metallica whiskey blackened.
Yeah, Mike mentioned here he is. Yeah, the ultra low frequencies. So that was the interesting part, and I think it was between what did he say? Between, this was kind of interesting, 2 and 10 weeks that it spends in those black and brandy barrels, going through that ultra low frequency like sound waves essentially. So it was pretty cool.
So Hudson Baby Bourbon in New York, which I grew up in New York, so I've been to that distillery. They actually do the same thing. It's not Metallica music, but they pump music through their rick house to rattle them as well. So I wonder if he got some inspiration from that in doing the Metallica whiskey.
Yeah, he had mentioned he had been turned on to this like a while ago, but he didn't really get into too much of it. He did mention that while he was at Maker's Mark, that obviously they were a little bit more tried and true. They weren't going to venture out into a bunch of experimental stuff, that they told him, hey, this is what you're going to make and why, and that's what he did. So once he left there, he was allowed to kind of experiment a little bit more with more blending, and I think that's how kind of Whistle Pig became, was essentially his creativity in trying to blend different whiskeys and stuff. So
yeah. So all right. So Sarah, it's Sarah from It's Bourbon Night. How you doing, Sarah?
Hey Sarah.
She said Chad always gets the credit. No, we love you too, Sarah. We know what the
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. She said she would love to try the bottle. Very curious about it. So I guess, Scott, I don't know if you plan on reviewing it, but you want to give us a little preview of what the whiskey is, or are you planning on?
Yes. I'll do a review of it at some point, probably soon, just because it's newer. So I'd like to kind of get that out there a little bit. But one of the other interesting parts before I kind of get too far is, I don't know if anybody can see that or not, but do you see where it says batch 81?
Yeah, I can see it.
Does anybody have any idea why maybe they batched this as 81? I mean, I know, but I'm curious to know. I'm sure, I know Mike knows. Mike will know, but I'm interested to know if anybody has any idea why they'd maybe name this or call this batch 081.
I'm trying to think to my any Metallica I have, why would be 81?
While the Jeopardy music plays in the background, I'm going to pour a little Bullet 10.
Oh, okay, yeah, great. So we're going to be trying some Bullet 10, which is actually a bourbon I have not tried yet. I've had bourbon many times, obviously Bullet bourbon, and I don't know about you, Scott, but regular Bullet, I always get a very bright cherry flavor. You get that on regular Bullet at all?
You know, to be honest, I don't drink a lot of Bullet outside of like cocktails, so I don't really ever taste it that way. The only one that I generally will sip on is the barrel proof or barrel strength and the 10-year. I know some people have had like mixed thoughts or reviews on the 10. but for the most part, in terms of what it is, I really enjoy it. Maybe because for me, it's a little bit more on the sweeter profile. So
Hey, Scott, check out the chat, and then we have some answers.
yep,
For you. See if anyone got
yep,
it.
I see that. So Pressman, he hit the nail on the head with that one. So that was when the band was formed in 1981. So that's why they decided to batch it as 81. I asked him too, and I'm like, how in the world did you come up with batch 81? So yeah, that was the year that Metallica started as a band. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I still listen to Ride the Lightning as I make my way into work. It gets me pumped up.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can say bad about Metallica at all. So I mean, that's anybody who talks bad about that, man, oh man.
I'm joining. I'm gonna pour a little Bullet 10 here and see.
Yeah, well, I'll be interested to see kind of what you think of that. So yeah, so Chris Santa Cruz said he likes the barrel proof is the winner with Bullet. So yeah, I agree. Barrel, I mean, it's a high proof. So
yeah, the barrel proof I've had, and I think it's good, but just compare it to other barrel proofs, it just doesn't have the flavor. But someone said that the 10-year. What I heard about the 10-year usually is that people either love it or hate it. So I was kind of seeing where I was going to fall in that category. So
yeah, well, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on the 10 and why you do or don't like it. So
so let's see here. First, Bullet. So this is 68% corn, 28% rye, and 4% malted barley. So I guess it's considered a high rye bourbon.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm trying to get. This one is very. This one tastes a lot cinnamony to me, or I should say, smells cinnamony.
Yeah.
I got oak. It's definitely sweet on the nose. I'll give it that.
Yeah. That's one of the things I get. I get that kind of corn, cinnamon, like right up front.
I don't get the cherry as much in here. I think the cherry now has turned to almost like an apple scent. You get any apple on it? I get apple on this. Maybe because it's newer for me. I don't know if air gets to it, if it changes it, but
yeah, maybe a little bit.
Let's see. Pressman is saying Megadeth has beer and Metallica now has whiskey. Yeah, everyone's getting on the whiskey.
Well, I mean, when whiskey or beer is cool and you have more money than time, the easy thing to do is, ride that train and hop aboard. I mean, that's the way it is. So
yeah, Whiskey Throttle said Bullet is good for marinade.
Yeah, I know. Daniel always talks about he's not a Bullet fan, so I know that. So for marinade. Yeah. Interesting.
All right, so now that it's opening up a little bit, it's getting more barrel char to me.
Yeah, I definitely get some oak. You do get that. I get that corn sweetness. There's that kind of that light vanilla that's there. I pick up as well.
Yeah.
And one of the other things I get is this kind of like a creme brulee type of sweetness to it as well. So.
Yeah, I'm getting. Yeah, maybe that creme brulee. To me, it's coming across as like a caramel apple, like a baked apple.
Yeah, sure. I can see that. Yeah, like kind of a spiced apple type of note.
Definitely baking spices there, especially as I'm swirling it around my glass here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, let's go in. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, this is a pretty nicely balanced bourbon. I'm not hating it. It's but you know what? That baked apple that I was getting on the nose, I actually get it on the palate.
Yeah, I agree. It's that spicy. I guess a good way to maybe describe this would be like kind of fall in a glass. That spicy apple, like kind of fall. Like if you go to some festival in the fall or whatever. I mean, anybody who's in any cold climate would probably understand that like cinnamon apple smell you get like from a fresh baked like cinnamon apple pie is kind of what you get.
Yeah. So you ever been to like I don't know, like some kind of fall festival where they're, doing stupid crap with pumpkins?
Oh yeah.
You get these smells like in the air, like it smells like a fall baking spices.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I like this. This is pretty good for the 10-year. It's definitely, I thought it was just going to be the regular Bullet kind of amped up, but to me, it has a completely different flavor profile.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, I don't think you can compare this to the standard Bullet like whatsoever. Like Daniel said before, regular Bullet, to me, the bourbon or rye, I mean, that's kind of a mixing, bourbon and rye for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is starting to get where you kind of said a little bit, where it's a little more complex. There's some more flavors you're pulling out. There's different layers to it. So much easier to kind of sip on. So,
hey, we got 17 in the chat. This is an all-time high for me. So thanks, guys.
Cool. Good for you.
Let's see. So let's see. Pressman Dave named the band Megadeth because it would come right before Metallica in the stores. That's very true.
Yeah.
Sarah, let's see. Well, I was already thirsty, but now I'm extra thirsty, and I wish it was a fall weather. Yes, cheers to that, because I love the fall, and I especially love drinking bourbon in the fall. So
see now Kentucky, and Sarah can probably vouch for this, but Kentucky wants to like talk a little bit about the fluctuation in like winter and summer and all that, but like I think like now I'm from Wisconsin, so I mean we get cold winters and can get hot summers. Now maybe this is the difference. We don't maybe get for a consistent amount of time as hot, but I think we get more cold than obviously Kentucky does. But so I mean we've got a good like weather conditions that are perfect for aging whiskey. And there's a few that have popped up around here and are starting to do some good things. But anyway, so that was
same here in Ohio. We get those extreme weather. I mean, when it's cold, it's freaking freezing. And then the last week here, it's been like 94 and humid. There have definitely been some distilleries that have opened up. I did my close by here in Indiana. There's a MGP is there. You have the Hotel Tango that I reviewed, which is right there. So there's a lot kind of in the Midwest here, but Kentucky is still where it's at.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, but fall's my favorite. Actually, wanted to do a quick announcement. So, guys, I'm not sure when I'm doing it, but probably between now and next Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a live review and tasting of this guy. I am super excited to try this. Haven't tried it yet. I've seen a few reviews on it, including Chad and Sarah did a great review on it. So I'm curious of how that's going to taste to me. So very, very excited about that one.
So Matt Bailey mentioned something that said the key is be on a river in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Huh. All right. I didn't know if that had something to do with the hot and cold. So must be
it's either that storm. It's either that or the scenery must be beautiful.
That could be. I can see sometimes where those storms probably really get to brewing on those rivers.
Yeah. Let's see. Bourbon shenanigans. I'm totally ready for hoodie weather. Yeah.
That's just around the corner.
I love nothing more than to just wear a pair of jeans and a long sleeve shirt and just walk around comfortable and call it a day. And sipping some bourbon on my porch. It's the perfect weather for that. I love fall, especially for bourbon. I love fall and drinking like barrel proof hot bourbons. It's nothing better.
Yep. And that's just around the corner for us. You get another month and a half or so, and that'll be right up our alley. I'll tell you that.
Peter White, why is the KC Casting Rye not labeled Kentucky Straight Rye? I didn't notice that. Let's see here. Casting Rye.
I heard the same thing too, but
it does not.
People were kind of questioning that. Yeah, people were kind of questioning it, and somebody made a good point about that. it just may not have been something that they necessarily felt like they needed to add to the bottle. So other than that, that's the only thing I heard. So
I mean, I have a designer background, and probably the word straight just didn't fit on here nicely, so they decided to admit it.
I mean, I can't imagine any of that, even the young stuff being less than 2 years old in that. So
yeah. So for this one, so this Knob Creek was barreled in 2009. This comes in at a whopping 119.6 proof. It's 59.8 from Warehouse A, which is the oldest warehouse that they have, apparently. Well, I would imagine so. So, yeah, I'm really curious to get into that and see how that tastes. Especially, I haven't had many cast strength ryes. The ones that I do enjoy are the Willet ryes that are usually cast strength. Yeah. Those are not bad.
Yeah.
Even this guy that I had, it's not the Knob Creek single barrel. It's not cast strength, but it comes in at 115 proof, and some of the picks for the stuff are really good. So I enjoy these.
That's I would have to say sometimes Beam and their products get kind of a bad rap, but I'll tell you what, they put out a lot of really good, consistent, high proof stuff. I mean, they really do a nice job with and keep it at a fairly good price point for a lot of people. So
yeah, let's see. Donner Pass Whiskey, been enjoying a Bullet cast strength lately on cool nights. Yeah, that's we were mentioning the Bullet cast strength rye. That's I love the Bullet cast strength rye. Definitely, the 10 is very good. I must say I do like it. But just being a lover of cast strength stuff, I do think it's their best expression.
Yeah. Now for the Bullet 10, what did you pay for it in your area? You remember?
This is $40 in Ohio.
Okay, same. Yeah, same here.
Yeah, $40.
Yeah, which is a pretty good value. You think of $40 nowadays, you can buy a lot of stuff that's not so good. I mean, in terms of value, I mean, I think it's a pretty good bourbon for $40.
You know what I hate is I look at my shelf and I look at all these bourbons and all the money I spent and all this stuff, and then you have this, which is like $6. This is the offer.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So,
I know.
And then, as I mentioned, I'm heading down to Kentucky, in about a week and a half, and I'm going to be waiting online to try to get my hands on that Four Roses, and I think that bottle is about $140. But I know it's a special bottling, so I really can't complain. But I'm looking forward to the experience.
So what are you thinking your chances of getting one are going to be? I mean, especially if you're camping overnight, depending on what time you get down there and you start the whole camping process.
I've never been there, so I don't know what the layout's like. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to arrive with a chair and hopes and dreams. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, the couple times that I've been there, I mean, and maybe more people can, and maybe I missed something completely, but when you're kind of walking up to the like the gift shop, there's not a lot of areas to put people like there. And maybe I missed like part of the parking or wherever, but when we were there, it just didn't seem like an area you could put a lot of people in. So I'll be real interested to see and maybe talk to you afterwards how the whole thing kind of gets set up. But I don't know. And maybe it's a different place than I was at. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how it gets set up, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be online to get this thing. So I'm actually. I
mean, does Four Roses have more than? I know they've got multiple like locations, but do they have areas that have more than one gift shop? I mean, that doesn't seem like it would necessarily be the case.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they sell it. They just said it's going to be. So actually, this bourbon, they said they're going to have. I think it's 12,500 bottles. So they have a good amount of bottles that going to be out there to get. So as far as
that's a fair amount.
Yeah, it is a fair amount for a special bottling.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Matt, I just got a 14-year single barrel pick today for $40. Oh, Matt, I think I saw that on your Instagram that some of the Knob Creek single barrel picks are amazing. So I know you were high on that one, so I hope it's good, buddy.
And a lot of those lately have had some pretty good age to them like that. There's another buddy of mine who lives close to me here who just picked one up, and it was right in that 14-year range too. So they're pumping out some pretty old juice right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the picks. I mean, you find some as soon as I see a Knobtree pick or the single barrel, I grab it. Normally. I mean, there's probably about 9 times out of 10, it's awesome. So
yeah.
Actually, so Dan Trout said the Michter's Barrel Proof Rye is one of my favorite ryes. Scott, if you have that, Michter's is really hard to come by around here. They only ever have the rye and the regular bourbon, and every now and then by accident you can get the U.S. American whiskey, and that's it for Michter's here.
Really? Okay, so yeah, we. I mean, it is something that's going to be more of a premium product. And it's not something you see on the shelves very often. And I was actually mentioning this to Dan the other day. There's a place that when we go on vacation a little bit further up north, that is, for whatever reason, has been for me a bit of a honey hole. And when you go in there, it's just this like little, I mean, it looks like a little convenience store, but you go in and this guy's got, just to kind of give you an idea, last time when I was up there in fall, I picked up a couple of the Michter's 10, the barrel strength rye, Elijah Craig 18, and this stuff was all just behind a glass case that had been there for a while. So people aren't going in this place picking this stuff out.
Wow.
So, but anyway, so yeah, he's got some really good stuff. So I'm going to look and see. And I believe Michter's just started releasing. Dan mentioned he was looking for one, that he was looking for the, what was it? The Michter's Barrel Proof, the toasted barrel. The toasted barrel.
I want to bottle that so bad. So if anyone finds it or is willing to send me a sample or do anything, I will pay you. Just get me a sample. I want to try it so bad. Or a bottle.
And you're talking about the toasted barrel, the bourbon.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Peter White, if you strike out, head over to Heaven Hill and drop 400 plus for one of their gift shop bottles. Oh, geez. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. That's a lot. Dan saying, Scott, I'm going back to the place near me in a couple of days, and they have the Michter's Barrel Proof Bourbon for $60.
Wow. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, he said he found one, so yeah, I would grab a few bottles of that at that price. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what Peter said.
Yeah. So back to the you know what? I'm really enjoying this Bullet 10. I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's getting sweeter as it kind of opens up here. It's nice.
Yeah, to me, it's a real easy sipping bourbon. I mean, it's not going to blow you away or anything like that. It's just a nice, sweet.
I totally agree.
Bourbon.
This is going to be like in my my fall lineup of bourbons. The way this tastes, I think this with the Stag Junior. I don't know if you've had so I did my barrel proof kind of mashup when I did a blind mashup in Stag.
Yep.
That bottle of Stag that I had, which is the I believe it's batch 10, I think I found out. 126.4 proof. This stuff was probably one of the sweetest Stags that I've had compared to other ones where it's much more alcohol forward.
Yeah. It seems like to me, and I haven't had the newer lineup, honestly, probably from about 7 on now. So the first couple years when they produced it, it was, I mean, you don't want to like badmouth anybody, but it was like gasoline. I mean, it was hot, and it was just like it was in your face, and it was, I mean, to me, was undrinkable. And as they started kind of getting through the batches a little bit, it started to, get better. Now, I've heard the same thing you just mentioned before, that now it's still fairly hot, which it is, but with some sweetness. Yeah. And the interesting part about that to me is, when you describe that, that's exactly what George T. Stag is. That's the description of when people talk about it. It's hot and sweet. Yep. So, I mean, clearly, if we're getting what they're advertising as Stag Junior, and this is young, Stag, then it makes perfect sense. So.
Yeah, let's see. I asked the guy, Dan Trout said I asked the guy how many he had, and he said he can't tell you, but it's one per person. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
All
I
right.
saw somewhere the other day. I forget where I saw it, but and and maybe it was Chad and Sarah when they were doing their live. I think Sarah mentioned that they were at a place and McKenna 10-year was like, I don't want to say part of a lottery, but it was now one per. Like, I mean, boy, oh boy, if this is where we're going with things, we're in trouble a bit. So, oh, one
Uh,
per for McKenna.
let's see. Pressman, grabbed Redemption, 8-year barrel proof rye. Heard pretty good things about Pressman. I have had that, and it's actually pretty damn good. I gotta say. So
Yeah.
I think you'll be pleased if you like higher proof ryes. I think you'll like that.
I've never had a Redemption ever. But one thing I can say is I like MGP juice in general.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing I would probably like it. So.
One thing MGP I love more than anything is their ryes. They make a great rye.
Yep.
But the let's see, Peter White. I have both the Michter's barrel proof rye and the barrel proof toasted barrel. I don't find a lot of difference between them. Both amazing though. Yeah.
Huh. Is the toasted barrel the rye or the bourbon? I mean, they haven't done the toasted barrel bourbon, I think, in a few years. They've just now reintroduced it. So yeah.
So speaking of hot, I know you don't have it with you, but I have the old Granddad 114. So as we close out, I'm gonna taste this.
I'll have some more 10.
Yeah, you have some more 10, buddy.
Yeah.
I haven't had the 114 in a really long time, and I'm a big fan of the old Granddad Bonded. I think one of the best value bourbons for the money.
Do you have any difficulty finding that in your area at all?
114 I do, but old Granddad Bonded you can find anywhere.
Okay.
Yep. So for those of you guys who haven't had Old Granddad, so this is Old Granddad 114. So it's named for none other than Basil Hayden. This is Basil Hayden's grandson, Colonel R.B. Hayden. Bourbon is a high rye mash bill and 114 proof.
Yep.
So it's actually it's another Jim Beam product, which I didn't know until I did some research too.
Yep. Good old Basil Hayden on there.
Let's see here.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the info, Dan. You're gonna have to do that. Moose OGD 114 is a go-to for me. Yep. Hey, Whiskey 6 is in the room. How you doing, Rob? Thanks for dropping in, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, the 114 or 114 is I think by us, I want to say maybe $22, $23. Pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, same here. 114 is pretty cheap. Whenever I go to Indiana or get into Kentucky, I always pick up a bottle of 114 because it's still there. You can get it.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I haven't. So you know what? This smells like a Beam product to me. It's very nutty and on the nose.
Yeah.
Leathery. I want to say it's got a hint of tobacco in there.
Yeah.
It's very it's pungent on the nose. Ooh, there's probably a little bit of the alcohol too.
Yeah. Sometimes for me, like when you're comparing like Beam with Heaven Hill, I have to wait a little bit to kind of let it open up because sometimes it can trick you in terms of what you're smelling. That up front or early on, you get that kind of nuttiness right away.
Yeah.
So, but with the Heaven Hill, tends to be a little bit maybe sweeter for me with some things, and then the Beam sets in a little bit more with the leathery tobacco type of flavor. So.
Yeah, let's see. Is the 114 the high rye mash bill? Dan, I'm not sure. Beam is very cloak and dagger about their mash bill releases, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
To me, if I had to guess, based on the nose, I would have to kind of go more on the palate to see how spicy it is. But I'm gonna go in right now. Cheers again, everybody. Last round of the night.
Yeah. And I have to say, Jason, thanks for sending me the T-shirt. So, it came out perfect. Came out awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Thanks for helping me out. Jumping my off, and everybody that's in the whiskey community. Rob and from Whiskey and the Six, Aquavite, Roy out there, Scotch Test Dummies, Chad and Sarah, of course. They've all been really supportive, and I'm kind of a whiskey nerd, a bourbon geek, and like I said, so it was kind of a natural thing for me to try to do, and I'm glad everyone's enjoying the content.
Well, that's the one thing I learned early on with this, is that there's a lot of good people, in the community. Everybody's been really willing to, help out, and just kind of everybody just interacts really well. So, I mean, that's the one cool thing about the community. So,
yeah, I would say on the palate, and I think Matt did say that, yes, OGD are all high rye. Yeah, I would agree with that. This is spicy. I would completely go all in that this is a high rye bourbon, but when you get past the alcohol burn, it's very you do get the corn, but it's really all that spicy rye grain, and then the finish is it's a nice long finish on this one. I really like the 114. This is good. It's got sweetness up front, but it's quick. It's like, okay, there's the corn, and then okay, now I'm gonna burn you. So it's a bit gasoline like a little bit. So as pleasant as gasoline can be, that's more of a pleasant gasoline. So exactly, but I gotta say, for a 114 bourbon, it's kind of light. It's light.
Yeah, I don't know what the age on that would be. I mean, you got to guess it's probably in that 4 to 6 range. That seems to be probably for Beam.
It's a no age statement whiskey, so I don't know. Let's see here. Matt Bailey, get a Whistle Pig store pick. OGD from Matt Bailey. Dwayne, you got your T-shirt today too from the contest. Great. I'm so glad.
Cool.
I sent Dwayne the last T-shirt out. He got a black one, I believe. Wear it well, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. But yeah, this is good stuff. I totally will take this over Basil Hayden any day of the week.
Yeah, I'm not really probably, like, I think both you and I would agree. I mean, 80 proof bourbon, for anybody who enjoys bourbon, it just doesn't really hold up. And for the price that they get for it, I'm really surprised. I think it's more of a name and a little bit of a reputation that it has, than more so than like a bourbon drinker's, bourbon. I mean, it's like maybe somebody who doesn't know anything about bourbon says, hey, what do you want? Oh, Basil Hayden sounds like a good name, so let's give that a go. So
yeah,
but 80 proof,
Yeah. So one other quick thing about Beam is, and I just saw the Scotch Test Dummies did a quick review on this morning. Was they reviewed the new Jim Beam Repeal label that came out. It's when it's basically a recipe that they use when Prohibition was repealed. They really loved it, so I'm going to be on the lookout for that one too.
Yeah, I saw it in my area the other day. I think it was like $14, pretty cheap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty inexpensive. So I thought about picking up a bottle the other night, but I just didn't. I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, well, I'll wait and see. I saw that Scott and Bart put that video out, but I didn't have a chance to check it out yet. But I probably will tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, so actually, Matt Bailey just said he gets mint on the back. And you know what, Matt? That might be what it is, because I was thinking on the aftertaste, it definitely has a little bit of a floral note. I wasn't sure it was mint, but now that you put it in my head, now I'm thinking mint.
Yeah.
It had a slight kind of floral, herbal background on the end. So, yeah, it's a great bourbon. Mm.
Yeah, that's one of the things I remembered with the 114 was always right at the very kind of back end of the finish, you start to pick up a little bit of that extra kind of sweetness to it as you it sits there for a while. It's a nice long finish.
Yeah, so. And it's getting more. I'm getting more flavors as it sits out here. Dan Trout bought the 1920 today. Dan, that is one of my favorite all-time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that stuff is so good. I finished my bottle last week, and I was very sad about it. I have to grab another bottle. You know what? I'm going tomorrow and getting one before.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. And I was saying to Dan the other day, we were kind of chatting through text, that he had never tried any of the Booker's line. I said, just go try one. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you like high proof bourbons, I mean, it's in your face. It lets you know that it's all barrel proof. I mean, it's fantastic. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Dan, if you can get the wait, I'm sorry, was it Dan you said who never had Booker's?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, Dan, if you can get your hands on one of the Kathleen's batch, which is the first release from this year, that is a really, really great Booker's expression. It's a little bit more unique than the most of them, but I think you'll
Yeah.
really enjoy it if you could find it. You can't miss it. It's the Booker's with the pink label on it. So it's Kathleen's batch.
Yeah.
I reviewed the one right after it, which is uh, the Backyard Barbecue, which was really good in its own right. But that one was more almond forward. So whether you like almond or maybe a little bit sweeter, take your pick. Both are very good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that is one thing with the Booker's line is that it does get to be from batch to batch, can be a little bit different, vary from different flavor profiles. But to be honest, that's one of the things that I like about single barrels is how different it can be. I don't always want it to be the same thing. That's one of the reasons I like the barrel bourbon lineup is that they do a lot of blending. I mean, they're basically master blenders, and they do a lot of really cool, interesting things. I don't know if you've had much or any of the barrel bourbon lineup.
The only barrel I've had is the Infinity Project one. Which was a blend.
Did you like that? Yeah.
I did. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very unique. It was really, it kind of took, as it sat, it was getting a lot of different things out of it.
Yeah. They do some pretty cool things.
Peter White, I have an unopened Booker's Oven Buster. We'll trade for a 1920 anytime. Yeah. The Oven Buster actually wasn't bad, but if you could find actually from last year, the Sip a While Booker's was amazing. If you could find that one. Whiskey Throttle, the Master Drum. What have I missed?
Nothing. Yeah. We paused, Daniel. Right when you left, we paused.
We drank 114. Scott told us the glorious story from his experience with the master distiller for the new Metallica bourbon. And but you know what, Scott? I'm glad you brought that up about the Infinity Project and some of the stuff Barrel were doing, because I read an interesting article today, and then we'll kind of wrap up with this before we go. So there's been a big push with blended bourbons as being the next big thing in American whiskey. And I don't know if you've kind of heard the same thing, but I was kind of hit with an article. Let me know in the chat if you guys have heard any of this. So William Grant and Sons, which is one of the largest owners of a lot of Scotland distilleries, including the Balvenie. Who else do they own? I don't know. They own a lot of different distilleries. Hendricks, Glenfiddich, Hudson Whiskey they own. They just created their own bourbon called Fistful of Bourbon. So these are Scotch guys that are coming to the U.S. and they're taking a blend of American whiskeys, American bourbons, blending them, and for $25, this bottle will be available. I think it's going to be available for the first time in Texas, and it's going to be called Fistful of Bourbon. So using their blending skills in Scotch, they wanted to translate that to the American market, and seeing what Barrel Bourbon has done with a lot of their blending, as we just spoke about. This is supposed to be kind of the new trend in bourbon, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, that's I don't know anything about that brand that you had just mentioned, but I heard or was listening to something the other day about maybe this becoming a little bit more of a trend. And to be honest, it's kind of interesting because I guess the thing I like the most about it is being able to create like different things rather than always having like something that's finished in port or whatever it may be. Now you're just taking other blended whiskeys and creating that different flavor profile. So, I mean, I know it's been done with a lot of other, distilleries, but when you get these people who are really like master, like blenders and tasters, I think that's really when things can get very interesting, when you know really what you're doing in terms of putting things together, not just putting things together and to I guess what I'm trying to say is just, to blend a bunch of different small batches together and call it that. Now you've got guys that are really knowing or taking special barrels, putting things together and creating a nice blend. So
yeah, it's some of the blending that they've been doing, like you said, the Barrel Bourbon, the New Year version, which I've heard good things about. Some of these blendings that people are doing, but I just thought it was interesting that these Scotch companies now are getting into the bourbon business doing these blends. And Fistful of Bourbon, I'm not sure if it's going to make its way countrywide, but I know it's starting in Texas. So if anyone out there is living in Texas and gets their hands on a bottle, definitely let me know how it is. I'm really curious. So with that, guys, I think we've gone over a little over an hour, about 10:07 right now. I really appreciate everyone for stopping by. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time and joining me on this live stream. This was a lot of fun. Wednesday, remember, guys, next Wednesday we're going to be tasting these blind samples sent to us, and we're really excited about that. So we're gonna kind of do some work. That'll be next Wednesday's live show, and so really appreciate you guys stopping by. And Scott, any parting words?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say thanks to you, Jason, for having me on. I appreciate it. And if anybody hasn't, go to Jason's channel right now, hit the subscribe button, give him a follow. He's doing some awesome things, some great reviews he does, and he's calling it the Scotchy September. And I've already kind of busted his what's a little bit about doing Scotch in September, but we'll leave it at that. No, so everybody. Just go to his channel, subscribe. He's doing some awesome things. So. Yeah,
but as you know, Scott, I'm sneaking in a lot of bourbon in between my Scotch and September. So
good.
This guy in.
Yeah.
I'm so
now I don't feel so dirty anymore. I feel much better about things.
Bad.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Thanks for stopping by. And like I always say at the end of my reviews, it's not about the whiskey. It's the people you share it with, including everybody out there in the chat. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye, Scott.
See you guys. See ya.